Here with the final lesson of Teach Yourself to Read Hebrew, Revised Edition by Simon and Anderson. The last chapter is titled Long Words and Unusual Endings. And I thought it would be complicated, but the book is pretty comprehensive. I feel like I can sound out a good amount of quote-unquote Hebrew words. I even found myself during my documentary watching, or whatever you want to call it, pausing the screen. Because if they tell me, hey, there's some Hebrew writing we found, let me see if I recognize anything here. And recognizing. Just a small example. I like watching biblical animation. You know, if I'm going to sleep or something like that, it's downtime. I'll watch a Bible cartoon. And Daniel, and I think this is the Assyrian captivity, but this could be the Babylonian captivity, because Nebuchadnezzar is involved in the story. And after he dies, his son, or his successor, starts drinking out of the holy cups and using all the items from the temple. And when the words came on the wall, I paused the screen, because, you know, God sends the angel, to write the mysterious words, and only Daniel can interpret them. So I paused the screen, read them in my head, and as I finished the cartoon, I was on point. So, Simon and Anderson. I'll give you at least that much props. Can't remember the word, and I know it's commonly known, but, well, the two words or the sentence that was written on the wall, I can't remember it offhand. I know what it meant, but to the lessons, long words and unusual endings. Anyway, you have now learned all the Hebrew letters and vowels. To review, use the chart inside. That's for me. In this lesson, you will learn to read longer Hebrew words by breaking them into syllables. Don't put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. I just always think that's funny. But the first section is titled Syllables. A Hebrew syllable almost always begins with a consonant. It consists of either a consonant plus a vowel, and they have the examples well, there's multiple letters with vowels under them. You see let me see if that's my left or right. That's my right, so that's a shin, the SH sound with the ah. That's a B with a ah. That's a mem with a double E, Y carrying on the E sound, so on and so forth, you know. So that's a consonant plus a vowel. The second reason that it says a Hebrew syllable almost always begins with a consonant. It consists of either a consonant and a vowel, which we just looked at, a consonant plus a vowel plus another consonant. Sounds like it would be something, but it's not. So let's look at those few examples, and I'll even sound a few out. So we line up the screen here. That's the first line, so this is the second one. Reading right to left instead of left to right, so here we are. So get that up on the screen, and I'll be looking on this side screen and see my finger right here. All right. Sh, ah, l. Shawl. Yep, shawl. Got to get that concordance so I know the intricate meanings, but that might not even actually be a word. So, b, ah, silent letter, that aleph. Aleph, first letter in the aleph taf, Hebrew alphabet. B, ah, nothing. And I'll just do this last one for fun. Me, e, meat. Vegetables, fruits, meat, bread. I was about to make a pyramid joke. If you watch my past video, you see my shirts on inside out. Keeping an eye on that symbolism, which I always do, but I grabbed the shirt out of the hamper. I didn't want to do this video with no shirt on. I want to be out naked in front of the people. That was the second reason, and there isn't a third reason, or there isn't a third example. So here we go. Well, I guess there are examples. Read the following examples of long words broken into syllables. Syllables. And I'm going to get in on you. Bam. So we have ye. See, that's left or right. That is left hand side dot on that sin. It's not a shin, it's a sin. Left dot, right dot. So ye, double E, ye. Si, eh, eh. That kind of slurred, short, when we did maroon and lagoon. It's not necessarily an A, not necessarily an E, but it's kind of a passing tone that comes in the vocabulary. I get it. I get it. You know, I live in Louisiana. We don't pronounce everything, you know. I'm aware of, I watch how I talk to people, you know, just not to sound ignorant. But if I'm comfortable, you're going to see me messing up some words. All right, so we have ye, e, ye, se, e, yise, yise. Let's leave that there. Yise. That's a resh with the a vowel signature. Ra, ra. Yise, ra. Yisera. Yisera. And we're going to add a silent, but we do have the double horizontal dot giving us the AY sound. So, A, L, ale, A-Y-L, ale. So the whole word together in full form should be ye, e, se, ra, a, ale. Ye se, rael. Ye se rael. You know, it sounds more accented when you slow it down into their version of syllables and pronunciations. But here in America, we say Israel, or Yisrael. I think that's probably how you're supposed to say it. But we have a second example of word breakdown. Long word breakdown. And where's the unusual ending section? Do they get me? Okay, the unusual endings is on the next page. And I liked that little. Alright, so let's do this last example. Sorry, trying to get in there on you. Clarification. Ye, Shiva, eh. Ye, ra. That is a vowel with the dot within it, not on the top. On the top will give us a O. Within gives us the double O. So, ye, ru. You probably can guess where this is going. Let me turn it around so I can see. That dot is on the right hand side. So that is a sh. I'm naturally putting the you know, the after sound is really sh. Stop it. No vowel. So you get me. So ye, ru, sh, L with another version of the vowel signature. So let's just take it halfway. Ye, ru, that is the final version of the mem. See, it's more squared off in comparison to this mem here. That is beginning, middle of the word you're trying to spell. Use that version. But if you're ending the word, we will use the squared off version. So now let's go to the whole world word here. Whole world in my hands. Not mine, you know whose hands it's in. Leave me alone. Talking fast, thinking fast, reading, teaching a lesson. Mind your business. Yeah. Ru. She. Or sha. Sorry. Sha. Yeah. Ru. Sha. La. Yim. Lerushalayim. Ah. We say Jerusalem. Yerushalayim. It's Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim. So the sh. If I did my last video on the languages and the meanings of the vibration of the language that's hitting you when you pronounce certain things. While we may have curse words, I don't know, that's a whole nother conversation. But the sh in English we've gotten, I guess you can say lazy or comfortable, and we say Jerusalem or Jerusalem. That would be a sin with the dot on the left hand side. Well, the example we just got was the dot on the right hand side, making it a shin. Pretty much the same letter, but two different versions, giving slightly altered pronunciations. Man, my hand looked fast when I did that. Lightning. Alright, that's the exercise, and I will go to the unusual endings section that I had already turned to, so I was flipping pages for no reason. Alright. Unusual endings. I will read this, and we will go into it, which it won't be long. See, I'm at 12 minutes and 25, 26, 27 seconds. So, when the last letter of a word is, and they have the, gosh darn it, that is a chet, like the CH as in Bach. It's a chet. So it's written really small and in italics because it's the focus, but it's not the focus. But you see it right there? That's a period and not a extension, which would have made it a tet. And it doesn't have the gap in it, which would have made it a hey. So anyway, sorry. Mosquitoes out here, son. You know what I'm saying? All right. When the last letter of a word is a chet, there's examples, so you'll see what I'm talking about. And the vowel underneath it is a horizontal line signature, giving us the vowel signature ah, ah, a, but more of the dulled a sound. So ah. The combination is pronounced ak, not cha, which I understand. The ch as in with a ah under it would make a person think go ha or cha. It's written with a ch, but the pronunciation, they say ch as in bach, and we say and we know we're learning Hebrew, so there's some in there. So anyway, so just to read it by fast, and we have two examples, more than two examples. When the last letter of a word is a chet, ch as in Bach, and the vowel underneath it is a horizontal line, being the ah signature, the combination is pronounced ak, not cha. And the two examples they give us, I'm gonna try to cover it up. And it's funny because I don't know exactly the time period this happened, but I was watching King Drop, and he says the word ruach a lot. And I was like, what is the word ruach? Because I know I've seen it skimming through my book. Looked up the word ruach, and also koach. And let's just just say it's gonna be part of my vocabulary. So anyway, I don't have the full definition, so I'm not gonna drop it. But as I glanced past the definition of the word, I was like, no doubt, shun. You know what I'm saying, shun. Anyway, two examples. I'm sorry. Mm. We have a calf. Calf. So that's K as in kitten, I believe the example is given. Calf. With the dot over it. With the dot over it, not within it. Or not within a vav, but over the consonant itself. So there we have ka-o, ko, and there's the chet, with the horizontal line giving us the ah. And naturally, we will want to go ko, ha, ha, ko, ha. But that is not right. Since the rule we just learned is that those two in combination at the end of a word, the horizontal line and the chet, I'm sorry for my hesitation on that, new letters, you know what I'm saying? That combination gives us the ok sound. So if we have established that the k, o is just fine where it is, ok, ko, ok. And it's an unusual ending in, well, the way they explained it, it's an unusual ending. So it's kind of one of those rule variations that you have to know within the language. Because reading it itself, your first thought may be to say ko, ha, koha. And I don't know what that means. You know? But I'll give the last example. Because it can go all day. There's more examples. Oh, there's another example that is necessary. I'm sorry. There's one more necessary example, and then the rest of the book is just practice. So, here's this one last ok example, and then I have one more. So, R. Oh, I'm sorry. Resh. So that's R. We have the vav with the dot within it. So that gives us the double O. So R, U. And here we have an example of the new rule, which is the chet with the horizontal ah under it. So you already know. R, U, ak. Ruach. Ruach. What is within your ruach? I know I used that properly, even though I don't have the full extension of the definition. But I thought this one was interesting, and this may take some practice from me, but if you get it, you get it. And you should get it. But here we go. When the last vowel of a word is a, and it gives us that horizontal line again, the ah, followed by the letter yod. So, just to zoom in here, sorry for the, see, that's a yod. That little comma, a little period after it really doesn't matter, but that comma, the yod, you've seen it, yod hey bye. So, when the last vowel of a word is the horizontal line, meaning ah, or representing ah, followed by the letter yod, the combination of the yod and horizontal line is pronounced I, as in tie. Because in my opinion, well, I'll show the examples first, and then I'll say why that could be confusing. Just how I said in the rucha compared to ruach. So, how just at first sight you might want to read it one way. I'll go into that. So here we go. The last letter, well, it makes no sense to hide the next one. There it is. But the last, I'm sorry. This is a very bad example in my opinion, because it's telling you if the last letter is accompanied by a ah, the horizontal line, followed by the yod, then the pronunciation is I, following whatever consonant. So I guess that is a good example because it's such a short word, but there's no other letters really for me to say who's first, last, second, or third. So I get it. My. That is a mem with the I followed by the yo. So the combination of the yod and the I being the last letter, being attached to the last letter, gives the I, of course, preceded by the mem. So my. I. And I kind of get that. My I. My I. My I. I get that. I get that. That makes sense to me. Okay. The one that doesn't make sense for me to cover because I showed it in the last one was B. See that little dot over it giving us the O. So bo t, horizontal line. So bo t I. And like I said, the yod with the horizontal line under the last consonant I. So bet with the O, tet with the I being the last letter in the word, followed by the yod, bow tie. Bow tie. And making sure, just exercises and repeats. So the last little part of this video, I did want to do another way. But due to the fact that I don't have a concordance, literally get paid tomorrow. So all that will be taken care of. But figured I'd finish this before I even start waiting for the mail. I don't know why I closed the book because I needed it. The way I wanted to do it at first is I wanted to completely translate or write down all the pronunciations for the prayer in the back of the book that is called the kaddish. 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 Pardon-moi. But when I, just in my own little, I had my cell phone, I'm like, oh, let me try to go. My dog, man. I bet my little brother just drove up. But anyway, when I went to read the individual words, can't even make a decision. Anyway, when I went to read the individual words and sound them out and write maybe their English comparison to the way I sounded them out, which is a little bit of a juggle, I didn't line up the exact words with what I thought I was pronouncing. Put it that way, because through this I have learned how to pronounce the words, but my knowledge of the vocabulary and vernacular within the Hebrew language is a whole nother conversation, and I'm gonna get my study up. Trust a brother. You gotta trust a brother. I'm gonna do it. It's for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sharing with you. If you have the time, more power to you. Because I already described we need our own language. What we speaking now, it ain't helping nothing. So, like I said, it didn't line up exactly. So I didn't want to, in any way, shape, form, blaspheme. Have some of the words pronounced and said right in that tongue, and then not necessarily knowing the exact translation and being able to prove it for myself. Key point. Because the next page actually gives you the English translation of what you're supposed to be reading. And went into the first two words, glorified and sanctified. When I sounded out the first word in the kaddish, and this is, I'm just saying this part, so if you know this or you're familiar with the kaddish or kaddish, I can see it being called the kaddish, then you'll tell me if I was right to stop, or if I should have kept going, had a little faith. You know what I'm saying? But blasphemy is a tricky one, and I ain't calling nobody who I don't want answering the phone. So the first word I saw was yi ta ga da dal. I'm sorry, my phone rang. Distraction. Ye ye te ga da. Ikada da. Ikada da. Ye ta ga da. And oh, when I typed that in, I got to make great, to make many as my definitions. And I might have approached it wrong because I was insecure about the way I pronounced it within their tongue. So I typed in glorified and sanctified in the Hebrew language, and I got back not that word I just said. So therefore, I will read the intro to the kaddish, which is in English, and it gives you, I guess you can say, a summary of history on the kaddish. And then I will read the English translation and see how I feel about that. Because I'm not going to lie, I didn't jump the gun, because I honestly, in the back of my mind, thought I could do it my original way. And I was excited about that. Like, oh, I'm going to pronounce it in the tongue and bless myself. But, cautionary. So, here we go. The kaddish. The kaddish prayer is probably the most used prayer in all of Jewish life. It is said at the end of the various sections of the traditional service, and as a morning prayer at the end of life. Morning. Okay, sackcloth ash. Read aloud until you can read it easily. The translation can be found on the next page. And for me to get, I already told you what I'm going to go through to make sure I feel comfortable about that. And I might be opening up lessons with that bad boy in the future, if everything aligns. But I want to say Haya Haya before I do this, before I read the kaddish. But I see within it words like Amen, Amen, Holy One, and God, G-O-D. So that might be the whole English thing, and how you can't take God's language and exactly put it in English. And that's why I'm doing this in the first place. So hopefully I won't have to say it like this ever again. I can put the proper terminology and hopefully not use words like God or Amen Ra. You know what? Just because I said that, and just coincidence of me saying that. And this is no disrespect. I'm not trying to be flashy or nothing like that. I reached in my closet just to put on a shirt because I was sleeping. I woke up and I didn't have a shirt on. But the tobacco shop around my way, literally called the Rock Shop. You might have one near you, and I think that's funny that when I put the shirt on, I knew to cover that up. I knew to turn that inside out, and it's getting balled up and thrown back in the closet. It might end up in one of my backyard fires. You know how that is. So I thought that was funny that I'm prepared to read a Hebrew prayer to the Creator. And I knew to cover that up for myself, but also to find the name Amen Ra within supposedly the English translation. But just to complete the book, to complete the idea of the book. And the fact that those words are in here might justify me questioning those these in the Hebrew tongue that supposedly aren't originally there before the Syrian and Babylonian and then Assyrian enslavement. So, sorry, long-winded, gift and a curse. It's all perspective. So, if you're going to bow your head, that's your business. But we're looking at this just to see. Glorified and sanctified be God's great name throughout the world which He has created according to His will. May He establish His kingdom in your lifetime and during your days, and within the life of the entire